March 15th, 2026, right at 6:23 p.m., south of Texas. And here's my Valentine's Day flower. And there's one bud there. That's it. And that's awesome, isn't it? It's quite prophetic in a way. The Last Rose of Summer was a song my great Uncle Thomas Moore wrote. And he was the last one on the stem. His wife and children died before him. And so he ended up alone. And he wrote The Last Rose of Summer in honor of those that have gone before. And that's what I'm doing too, because I still have a distance, and this is my mission, to get out the truth and sing my song and express my story. Forgive me if it goes too long. But that's where I get my, I'm going to rest here. I'm in my Epsom salt bath, taking care of me, definitely. Looking at my last rose and listening to music. And Bill Donahue. And this is chapter 4 of 13. This is from the year 1978 until 1983. Yeah. And you don't have to listen to me, and you don't have to agree with me. Some of the things I might say might offend thee, but I'll tell the truth as I witnessed it. You see, maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help somebody. 1978. Wow, that was a year. I was 15, and I was with George, and started working, paying the way, and staying with his mom as long as we could stay. And then she moved, and we ended up homeless for a while without a place to stay. And we stayed in our van in Martinez, I think it was, or Pittsburgh. And we stayed there for a while. I got food stamps from social services, even though my mom was getting my check still. I just got food stamps to get me help. You know, I didn't go back to my mom for help. I didn't go back to my mom for anything. I just let them be, my mom and Cliff and Davy. Went on and lived my life, you know, and worked, and of course back then I could get away with lying about my age. It was a lot easier way back in 1978. Definitely. And George's mom had a beautiful 68 Camaro, blue. It was automatic, but still it was sweet. And we would play 8-track tapes, and that, and having to shake them to tighten them up. That was awesome. But it was a pain in the butt when you wanted to listen to the whole tape, you know. And I was really glad they went to cassettes pretty quickly after that. Really, it didn't take too long to go to cassettes. I think they were in cassettes by 83, certainly. Yeah. And yeah, so I was working, living, and you know, being homeless with him. We got our apartment, and then we moved into this mobile home by his brother's place in what is now Bay Point, used to be Pittsburgh, California. And I had a 69 Impala. That was mine, that I would drive to work without. And I got my license early, and that was the first thing I got in continuation high school, was my license. So I was 16 at the time. And I dropped out of continuation school. Excuse me, I need my coffee. There's a little mini on there, it's really cute. And tomorrow would be my Jake's 34th, and it will be my Jake's 34th anniversary since I lost him to AIDS and HIV, thanks Anthony Fauci. Yeah, he turned COVID country into AIDS and HIV, unfortunately for humanity. But that's another side note. That's tomorrow anyway. We're talking about from 1978 to 1983. Yeah, 5 years solidly. And yeah. At 16, my dad pierced my ears again. He did it with an ice cube, and for my 16th birthday, I let him. I can't believe I let him do it twice. Yeah, the first time my ears got really bad infected when I was like 8, 7 or something like that. And when he pierced my ears, I let him do it again when I was 16. I couldn't believe it, for my 16th birthday. And he used a potato and a piece of ice and a needle, and oh my God, I wish I hadn't, because I got such a bad ear infection from that. It was awful. Really. Totally. It was not good. Kind of like smoking. Smoking's not good. I do intend to quit again. And, you know, every puff is a prayer. It has been for 7 years. And I quit smoking for 20 years and smoked for 20 years before that. I quit smoking in honor of my dad's death in 1999. He died in 98, April, at 63, which is trippy, which is where I'm at right now. And he was in Ophiuchus, born on December 8th, right day after Pearl Harbor Day. But anyway, so, see, I went rabbiting. That's what happens. Got off track. I lose time that way. But anyway, so, yeah, there was a lot going on in 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. A lot changed. Much changed. And I wrote my first poem then when I was 16, and I called it Fragments. It was in the spring of, that would be the spring of my 16th year. And it went like this. It's the only poem I truly remember, and I've written a lot of poetry. This one I remember. It's called Fragments, and it goes like this. Fragments of my life gone by, in just a single silent sigh. The goods, the bads of times gone by. I look up now, I see the sky. The worst years of my life are over. I look back at things in total wonder, looking at all that I have discovered, as well as what might be in my future. Lying in sands, walking in nature, the little things that mean so much. Knowing myself, I don't ask a lot. But just a secureness, serenity inside, a person, a being, myself inside, a person I've always wanted to be, strong, sturdy, and most of all, free. Yeah, I never sang it before, so I hope you dug it that way. I never put music to that song before, so that, hey, there's a bonus. That was live quality entertainment. Yeah. And at that moment, you know, I was having a real rough patch with George at 16. And he was mean, and he was an alcoholic and very abusive to me. And he cheated on me. A lot. And had me, but, you know, he didn't want me. You know, it's like, why have me if you don't want me? You know, just to use me. You know, and, you know, to pay for your partying and your friends and stuff. You know, it wasn't cool. It wasn't at all. So, anyway, I tried. And I thought, well, if I marry him on my 18th birthday, hey, make me his bride. Then he'll straighten up and fly right. Yeah, right. I'll make him into the man I know he could be. God help me. Yeah, thinking that would change him. No. We didn't last a year before I was in my dad's ear. And my dad was living in Willow Pass Road in Concord, the apartments. And he said, look, he said, You either pinch or get off the pot, girl. I'm sick of hearing you complain about how this guy is abusive to you and how he uses you, and you're either going to do something or I don't even want to hear about it. Well, I decided to leave him all right. Yes, I did, but it wasn't going to be easy. Nope. I tried to be cool about it and tell him I was leaving. You know, hey, this is just not working. I know we're married, but I'm not. You don't really want me, so why even be with me? And then all of a sudden he wanted me, badly. And here's what happened when I tried to leave. I told him I was going to. Look, I'm done with your abuse. Okay, this ain't cool. So, in the cargo van that his friend had, it was just empty cargo van. And he took me to Martinez, picked me up from work that night, took me out to Martinez. And, oh, you're gonna leave me, right? Right. And he took me out to this, where there's a freeway overpass in Martinez. He took me out of that overpass and beat the ever-living crap out of me. Threw me from one side of that cargo van to the other. Oh my God, I saw stars. I never saw so many. And I knew he would kill me. If I can't have you, no one's gonna have you. If I can't have you, no one's gonna have you. That's what I heard. Anyway. And he meant it, really. I've gotta get myself wet here. Forgive me. And he meant it. And so he's beating the crap out of me at the back of this van. Almost killing me. And I knew if I didn't do something, he was going to end my chips. He said, I'm going to throw you up on the freeway overpass and watch how many times you get hits. I'm just knock you out here and drag you up there, drag you up on that overpass right there. And I'm going to watch how many times you get splattered. Wow, yeah. I better think quickly, right? Well, I sure did. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, Lori, you lie to him. Lie like you never lied before, girl. And I thought, oh man, George, really? You love me that much? You would kill me? Yeah, I didn't know that. Gosh, what was wrong with me? I didn't know you loved me that much, Georgie. Georgie? George Chirp? Yeah. George Robin Chirp. Can't believe I married him. But anyway, yeah, you're gonna... You love me that much? You would kill me rather than see me with any... God, I didn't know. How stupid am I, bro? So I wheedled out of that and thought, no, don't tell him you're gonna go. I didn't know it would be, I figured, hey, you don't want me, you're cheating on me, you really don't want me, why? Just let me be, I'm gonna fly away, man, you don't want me. And it wasn't until I left that he decided he couldn't live without me. So I had to figure out plan B. Plan B was to go live with my dad. And, get out of there without him knowing. I had to leave my dog, my Doberman Buddy, which was really a bummer, but I couldn't take my dog with me in my dad's apartment. So I had to leave my buddy. And I hid at my dad's apartment. And I was 19 at the time. Yeah. I was 19, going on 20. And, yeah, I got away. He wouldn't dare go near my dad's place. And, he hunted me for years. He still tried to find me. When I moved to my mom's house, he was always looking for me. Always. Hunting me. And, I knew him till, gosh, American Home Shield. I was 21. Yeah, 21, and I knew George pretty much all that time. He never really left me. He was always hunting me or watching me. And, but, he knew he couldn't have me. I was done. I cut all my hair off. The one thing he would not let me cut my hair. My hair was down to my ass. It was beautiful, long blonde. And, he would never let me cut my hair. So I cut my hair all the way up to my ears. They called it a bi-level. I cut it all off and donated it for cancer patients. And yeah, he knew once I cut my hair, that was it. I wasn't going back away. But, you know, obviously we kind of stayed in contact. But anyway, he never got me back, and I wasn't going back to that. Really, he tried, but, you know. Anyway, so, yeah, I moved to my mom's house with Steve. I met Steve when I was 20. He was a lot of fun. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm going from 15 to 20, so we're still in time frame. Tried to stay in time frame, you know, 15 to 20. Obviously, a lot happened to me. And, you know, I went to many great concerts during that time. Bob Seger, I had my first concert, Led Zeppelin, in 1979. Yeah, I was, no, 1976. I was 13. Yeah. 1976, my first concert was Led Zeppelin. Yeah, Day on the Green, San Francisco. I still remember, we had the best Purple Haze skunk weed. Oh my God. Opened the bag and half the crowd was high. Smoked one, the whole crowd in our section was awesome. And Rick Derringer played that day. It was awesome. I've seen reruns of the concert. It was awesome. Many great concerts in the Bay from 15 to 20. And Pat Benatar, lots of great artists. And so, yeah, I went and stayed with Steve at my mom's house. I was 19, so going on 20. And Steve was a lot of fun. R&B clubs, San Francisco, Broadway, the Kabuki nightclub, R&B clubs in Berkeley, Skyline Boulevard. Boy, we went to the baseball games. And I went to an A's game on LSD this one time with him. I couldn't believe it. It made the game really funny. I didn't even, you know, yeah, that was an experiment. Yeah, and no, that wasn't, I didn't do that. I think I did LSD 3 times in my life, and I didn't really like it. No, but I tried it. Anyway. So Steve and I at my mom's house, and Mom was at John Muir Hospital, depressed. So she suffered another breakdown. And Steve and I stayed there with my brother Cliff at my mom's house when I was 19. And Mom, you know, had a breakdown, of course. She had many from 15 to 20. And I couldn't save her as much as I tried. It was better for me to be out of the way, because if you remember from the last chapter, she tried to kill me. She wanted to kill me. It was not going well with Mom. And I loved her. I really did. I'm glad I was closer to her when I was little. I tried to help her, and I could not save her. I could not. For the hours I spent with her, I could not save my mom. But anyway, she was in John Muir Hospital when Steve and I went to go stay. And Clifford was there, and Mom was going to be there for a while. And, you know, so Steve and I stayed there, and we had a lot of fun. Went up Mount Diablo, of course. We spent much time up Mount Diablo. Had a lot of fun. And a beautiful mountain, we enjoyed it a lot. And great parties, in the Bay Area. All kinds of stuff going on in San Francisco. And Steve and I were always hit. We saw the Dolphins and the Niners game up at Jack London Square in San Francisco. And we were pretending like we were eating dolphin. It was a great time. And we won. Joe Theismann snapped that leg. Oh man, we could hear it. Everybody felt that. Yeah. And the Niners won. And we had a lot of fun, Steve and I, at the beaches. And stuff. Had a lot of fun. And, you know, but he was a pretty heavy drinker. He got drunk and he got mean. Steve, too, was another one. And he cheated on me, unfortunately. I think he did my mommy. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he did. Cliff said something about it. Anyway, so we stayed. My mom came home and we had Thanksgiving, and I'll never forget it. It wasn't going to last long when Mom got home. I knew that, for sure. And so Steve and I stayed there, you know, when Mom got home, and we had Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was a mess. Mom was a zombie. She just got back from shock treatments or whatever they did at John Muir psychiatrically. She was not even really present. Thanksgiving, I remember, it was so somber. It was so like, wow, this is Thanksgiving? Yeah. Wait till you see Christmas. And sure as chips, man. Christmas comes by and yeah, we get a tree and we decorate it all pretty. I said, hey Steve, watch, it's gonna end up in the front yard. It's a family tradition with Mom. She's gonna lose her chips at some point and that tree's gonna go out the front door, I guarantee. You wanna lay bets? Yeah. And yeah, you know, we tried with Mom, and she would play my record player really super loud and not let me play it. Your music, I like your music. Well, you play my record player, you play it at full blast. I want to play Pat Benatar, man, or I want to play Duran Duran, you know, or Prince, or, you know, and she would get pissed if I played my music. You know, I'd come home and there she was playing my record player with my, you know, her music, full blast. So yeah, crap like that, and that was it for me. I said, I got to get out of here. No way, it's not pretty, and we had an argument. I left pretty quickly after that, but yeah, the Christmas tree went out the window. Or out the front door, forgive me. Decorations and all. Leave it to Mom. Yeah, she was great that time. Yeah, every year. But that was Mom, you know. She was in a prison of her own. And she knew of Carl Jung, and she knew of psychology, and she knew of esoteric wisdom, but yet she couldn't pull herself out of her depression. She could not do it. She couldn't manifest happiness for herself, love for herself. And I'll never forget, my mom asked me a question, you know, Lord, I can't I can't hear God. I can't hear God. Why can't I talk to God? I can't hear God. And what my mother forgot was the God within her, the Divine Mother within her, the Holy Spirit within her, her higher self, that she never got the love or understanding she needed. And she should have sought within herself more for it, because like me, I was taught to seek outside myself for validation, outside myself for love, outside myself for my needs, outside myself for everything, for knowledge, wisdom, you know. And I had so much inside of me, and my mother did too. She just didn't know how to communicate it. And I spoke to the heavenly, you know, not as much as certain points in my life got more intense for me. But my mom, I couldn't cure her and anxiety. And I remember we would do this experiment driving behind cars in her little Toyota Corolla. It was pretty, like aquamarine green blue, like seafoam blue. It was really pretty little Toyota. And we were driving around Mount Diablo Valley, and we would drive behind somebody, and Mom would say, turn right, turn right, turn right, and they would turn right. And then she'd say, turn left, turn left, turn, and they would turn left. And she would do this experiment, how many times they would do what she thought. If she could project her thought and make them do what she wanted them to do. Okay, trippy. And the reason she did that was because there was an incident in Oakland back when I was a baby. And she's sitting there with Aunt Lil having tea in the afternoon, and there happened to be a strangler in the area in Oakland, California. And the front door swung open, and my mom saw the house next door, and she said, wouldn't it be weird if that person gets strangled next? I see that house next door. But she didn't go to warn him. She just had a premonition, right? And she didn't think nothing of it. She just thought it. Well, that dude was strangled that night, or that lady, the person was murdered that night. And she took responsibility. And she felt so guilty thinking that because she thought it, it would happen. But it did. She was trying to prove that she didn't make that murder happen. She thought that because she thought it, it happened. And it really, you can imagine how hard, you know, that had to be. And I've had, as you know, premonitions throughout my life, like about the fire in San Mateo, or about the car accident when I was 8. And I knew it was, I said, wouldn't it be weird? I just knew. And so, yeah, I would do these experiments with my mom to see if she could really make people do things. I know I'm going back in time a little bit, but that's important. You know, it drove her crazy, thinking that she had responsibility. I can see why, my poor mommy. So anyway, she was, you know, coming back to around 20 years old, when we were living with her at that last part. That was the last part of her life, too. And she came out of John Muir, and we, you know, obviously I told you the story, Thanksgiving, Christmas, good God. And she obviously went back to drinking, you know, unfortunately. Scotch whiskey and Irish do not mix. Scotch is whiskey and Irish do not mix. Scotch, whiskey, and Irish do not mix, loves. And I would show you me, but I'm in the salt bath, as you know. I'm taking care of me, which I wish my mommy could have done better, actually. Take care of me and her. So, anyway, I'm just sitting here, so. And I'm washing all this history away while I'm doing it. All the programming, all the stuff my mom told me and didn't show up for me, and wasn't there for me, and spent a lot of her time in bed, the bath, or the bottle, the prescription or otherwise, or in the hospital. And I had to learn to take care of me and listen to the God within me that guided me through my life and saved me, like that thing with George. And the Spirit told me, you better lie, honey. You better lie or he's going to kill you. Real lie, no lie. So I listened. Thank God Almighty. I listened. I was very blessed. And the Holy Spirit has spoken to me, and I haven't lost that. It stayed with me, you know, my whole life. I was really, really blessed to have that gift of the Holy Spirit to give me messages like this to save me and inspire me and guide me. Nobody outside could have told me, really. I had to find the answers within me. I just didn't know it. I trusted everybody else outside of me instead of me. A lot of times that was my biggest mistake. I've learned at the age of 63 now, if I could share a little wisdom. I abandoned myself. That's what I was taught to do. I was taught to take care of everybody else but me. And be codependently, or be an adult child of an alcoholic or an addict, or, you know, programmed from the beginning, and then locked in with the system and CYFD, unfortunately. But at 20, you know, I left right after Christmas and got an apartment with Steve, and by Mother's Day, by May, I went to go see my mom for Mother's Day. And I went to go see her the day before Mother's Day on Saturday. Bring her flowers and gifts and a big old card. I got her this huge card. And I went to see her, and she goes, well, I've already, you know, seen David. David came and saw me before you. And we had a big argument, me and David. I said, what about, Mom? She said, well, I'm going to finally end it tomorrow. I'm going to finally get out of this. I'm not stopping this time. I'm going all the way across the line. I can't stay here anymore. I'm suffering, as you can see. And my poor mother suffered for a long time with her abilities. Mostly because they didn't understand her, and people took advantage of her. So many people took advantage of my mother, her kindness. She was very kind. She could also be very fierce. She was a Leo, August 20th, directly my opposite, which explains why we didn't get along. And so she told me, hey, I gotta go. I can't stay anymore. David, you know, what was the argument about? Well, I told David that I'm going to finally do it, and I'm leaving the house to Clifford for now. I know I gave you a will that says that, the house is to be split 3 ways, and the house was 2023 First Avenue, Walnut Creek, California, 94596. And it was Jack London's summer cottage, which made it a historical landmark, actually. And, but Mom said, look, I'm changing Clifford, my brother. I have to, go. This is about the age 19, 20. This is right before Mom died, not long. And Clifford and I took a drive up to Stinson Beach, Mount Tamalpais. And, I gotta adjust my legs. Little, there we go. And, we took this drive, and he's all complaining about Mom and how she's being, mean, and she's so needy, and he's sick of her crap, and, sick of fixing the house and all this stuff. He just wants her out of the way. Right? She's being a big pain in the butt. Pain in the ass. He said it's not worth it staying there. She's, making it too hard for it. It's not worth it. And he was so mean about it. And it put me into shock in a way. I need to drink coffee, excuse me. And so he planned against my mom to get the house. And what he did was he said, I'm going to leave you and leave you all alone if you don't sign the house over to me. I'll hold the house for Dave and Lori, and when they're old enough, I'll sell it and split it 3 ways. They're only 20 and 21. They're too young to get that kind of money. But they'll always have a safe place to stay. And when they're old enough, I'll sell it and split it 3 ways. And my mother, unfortunately, did a quitclaim deed to my brother Clifford 30 days before she died. And then he made it clear that's all he wanted anyway. Which is really super sad. And then, so I honored my mother's wishes. I said, okay, Mom. Okay. I'll have to trust that Clifford is going to live up. And at least I know I'll have a place to stay. And, he'll take care of it. That's okay. I just love you. I want you to be free, Bonnie. I want you to be free. I love you enough to let you go, because for so many years I fought it with my mom not to kill herself. Why would, you got me with Mom. I tried for so long to heal my mom and listen to her. I tried to save her in so many ways. But at this point, when I was 20, it's like, look, Mom, it's no fun to see you suffering. And she was. Oh, how my poor mother suffered. And all my brothers wanted was money. And David broke her with his response, not to honor her wishes or try to understand. David just wanted the money. He wanted his inheritance, man. He was livid. David was livid about his inheritance. And I get it, He didn't trust Clifford as far as he could flick him. And I get that. And because Clifford never lived up to that commitment to my mother. He lied to her and me and everybody. And kept that house, never gave me a dime, and never gave me a safe place to stay. Ever. And I tried to get him to do the right thing by it. And I don't want to be a bitchy or on the pity pot, but he took advantage of my mother and broke her. When she found out that all he wanted was the house, he didn't care about her, she realized. She woke up and smelled the coffee and said, God, this kid doesn't love me. He just wants the house. He doesn't want me. He just wants my stuff. He don't want me. He doesn't love me. All he loves is what he can, the house he can get out of me. To him, I'm just a pain in the ass. I'm not his mommy. He's not honoring me. Not in any way. At all. All he cared about was the house and the money. It broke my mother. And I realized that with her sitting at our sewing machine that we bought together. And we were sewing a quilt right there. And I said, God, Mom, I'm so sorry. Boys are this way. So sorry, all they care about is the money. I just want you to be free. I don't want you to be sad anymore, Mommy. I just want you free. Everybody's hurt you so, misunderstood you, and not honored you or respected your abilities or your intelligence. And the hardest thing is my mother never learned to love herself. Really. The goddess within her that lived, that I knew, because my mother was magnificent. Anyway, so I let her go with love. And she was gone on Mother's Day when I was 20, 1983. And I loved her enough to set her free. And I didn't care about the money. I guess this is the hard part about doing it live, right? This is part of it, to get this out of my system. To purge all of it. And understand it. Because I didn't understand my brothers, they were so different. They just cared about the material and the money, not my mommy. I tried to help her, and I couldn't. Yeah, and then I guess I should pause so I could have a cry. Maybe not, that's alright. Lemon Epsom salt. This is what I need to do. This is purging all this leftover pain and history out of me. It's a good thing. It's a cleansing thing. As hard as it is for me. Mother's Day happened and it turned out to be a very pinnacle for me every time. My Delphi died on Mother's Day, 2019, murdered. But my Delphi was murdered by 3 ravens on Mother's Day, 2019, right in front of me. Picked right out of the sky by 3 ravens at Cimarron, St. James Hotel, Cimarron, New Mexico. Mother's Day has been many very terrible days for me as a mommy. Delphi was almost 20. First millennial bird born on 1/1/2000. My Delphi. So anyway, Mother's Day was very pinnacle. It was a very appropriate day for my mother because my brothers did not honor my mother, and neither did my dad, obviously. My dad had a beautiful woman, really, but she had a lot of things people just did not understand. She was different. She was designed different, like she should. Very unique. Very clairvoyant. Very, but she could not save herself. With all her wisdom, she could not save herself. She could not love herself. Confirmation. She could not love herself. She could not hear the goddess inside of her, her higher guides to lift her. I was blessed that way, honestly. I was blessed abundantly. And this bath is lovely. Yes, I'm washing all this stuff out of me. While I tell my story, yeah, if I were to write it, it would take me forever. And they don't have, Toxitex or ghost writers. People have said ghost writers now. This is the way I express myself. This is my art. Digital creation, making videos and in a way, movies. This is the movie of my life because I've seen a lot of miracles and I've been saved many times in my life by the Holy Spirit within me, the Goddess within me that has saved me when I stop to listen and I need it. Really. I've been blessed abundantly. Consider it. And I got a lot of my abilities from my mommy. I was very lucky. I was cursed at the same time because I had different abilities than her. But I was born with it. And I got gifts from my grandmother. Oh, excuse me. I'm adjusting, obviously, my little bathtub here. My little bathtub of Epsom salt. It's precious. It's precious. It feels wonderful. Seriously. Hey, Joey. Hey, Jose.
Yeah.
Will you turn off the cooler, please?
Yeah,
Thank you. And put that hot water over here, please. Yeah, keep this bath going here. I need this. This is very cleansing. It's perfect timing. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And bring the water over here, please.
What water?
This one?
Oh.
So I can get it closer, please. You could heat up some more, maybe.
What?
You could if you would heat up some more.
Okay.
Thank you. I got 20 minutes to go on my story here.
Okay.
We're waiting.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
Want me to heat more water?
Sure.
Yeah.
Warm this up a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. I'm having a bath. It's a little bath, but it fits my little body. Epsom salt. Yeah. And soaking. Beautiful. I'm very blessed to have it, even though it's little. Yeah. My brother Clifford, you know, he got the house and never helped. He gave Dave a place to stay for a while with Travis, but dude, not a dime, not a penny for me. Oh, yeah. Sadly. And he died with that poo-poo on his shoo-shoo, too. He committed suicide in that house, same as my mother. That day, and it wasn't pretty death that my mother had either. But she got free finally. She got free, she got out. I was really happy for her. I truly was. I was really grateful my mother didn't have to suffer anymore. And I didn't have to watch her. And that she was free, like she wanted to be. My precious mother. Like she deserved to be, because this world tore her up. Believe me. People took advantage of her and her abilities. And especially my brothers. My brothers treated her mercilessly. David, he wouldn't do anything if she wasn't paying him. He stole mortgage money from her. And hey, he's dead and gone. You know, so I can say whatever, I can tell the truth. That's the whole point here, is to tell the truth about everything. You know. And so yeah, I let my mother go at 20, I guess. That would be a good way to end the chapter. But I made a vow to my mother. Not just to my mother, but to me. That I would not be allowed to take my own life, no matter how bad it could be. Would not be allowed, in honor to make up for her suicide. I would not be allowed to take my own life. Not purposely, no. I would have to go walk through everything and hold my light as high as I can, as bright as I can, no matter how bad it got, man. That was my vow to my mom. Not just to my mom, but to me. That I wouldn't do what my mom did to me, number one, when I became a mommy. My mom taught me how not to be a mother in so many ways. She also taught me how to be a mother too. But anyway, she taught me what not to do. And I took that wisdom with me. And I had made an agreement with myself. No matter how bad it got, I would not kill myself. In honor of her not having the strength not to. Because she could not take what this world could do. And my mother had a saying, and she said, Laurel, life is what you do with what's been done to you. She wrote that in a little book. And one thing I remember her writing, my mother would write. She would. It's kind of scribbly, but yeah, life is what you do with what's been done to you. Life is what you do with what's been done to you. And there's been a lot done to me, obviously. But I'm trying, this is what I'm doing with it. I'm clearing it. I'm clearing the garbage and the masks and the and integrating the shadows, integrating the things I've had to learn in survivals. You know, learning from all my traumas and, you know, and dramas. Yeah. And I've, you know, from 15 to 20, wow. It was mostly with George, you know, and then some with Steve, and I got pregnant. I guess that would be the last of the story, Steven. Yeah, when I was with Steve, when I was 20, when I was living at my mom's house where I'm, you know, I'd been. And, he had moved back to Michigan. I sent him back home. And I found out I was pregnant. But it was in my tube. I didn't know I was pregnant. And here's what happened. I didn't bleed. I didn't have my menstrual cycle for like 2 months or something. 2 or 3 months. I missed. I knew it was 2 months. And I started getting immense pain in my right side. And I had to take the bus all the way to John Muir Hospital in Walnut Creek from American Home Shield in Dublin, California. I was 20, 1983. And I got into John Muir and I had an ectopic pregnancy. It almost killed me because then I was bleeding profusely. But unfortunately, the baby was in my tube. It was Stephen. And I had this dream before I knew I was pregnant, and it was ectopic. And I had this dream that I was at a Nazi concentration camp. And my mission was to find this one little boy that was way down, hidden, like special. And I had to find this little boy. And that was my mission, and there was shooting going on and executions and everything going on at this Nazi camp. And I got in there. You were breaking into a Nazi camp, right? Yeah. And I got into this one place where there was a spiral staircase going down to a basement. Made of brick, I remember it, cement blocks. And this little boy was so precious. Oh my God, he was beautiful. Brown hair, blue eyes. Beautiful little boy. And I said, come on, I came to get you out. I came to rescue. I found you. Let's get out of here. And I woke up from the dream. That was before I knew I was pregnant. But anyway, that almost killed me, that ectopic pregnancy. They had to cut me from side to side, and they saved my tube. And I lived, but oh my God, to be cut that way, it was awful. And Steve, he was in Michigan, so my dad, I stayed with him in my recovery in Pittsburgh, California, at his mobile home. During my recovery, it was very, very difficult for me. I couldn't walk, I couldn't do nothing from that surgery. It was an awful recovery for me. And after my recovery, it had to be a few months. My dad took me out finally, you know, to go dance and get out, you know, get out of the house. And of course, he threw me my bag of weed, my cannabis, because Dad, you know, he's Native American Shawnee, And he knew cannabis was our medicine, you know. So he would, through me, you know, made sure I had a supply of cannabis, you know, for my recovery, to help me lay low and rest, take care of myself. And then, you know, a few months down the road, we went out finally. And, you know, we had a good time dancing and stuff, but I couldn't do much because I was still recovering. Anyway, I was 21 then, yeah, because I was drinking with him at the bar. Yeah, you know, yeah. Peppermint Bailey's Irish cream at home. And we're sitting there at home around his round oak table. And he said, you know, ask me any questions. I won't tell you any lies. And let's lay it all on the table here. Let's have it out in a way. Verbally, you know. You got questions? Let me give you answers, honey, because we've never really got to sit down and talk about a lot of this stuff. We need to clear the air. Get some stuff out the way. About me and your mom and everything that happened. And we laid all the cards on the table. I pulled no punches with my dad. And he pulled no lies to me. He was totally straight up. I jacked up. Jack of all trades, master of none. When I've mastered me, then I've won. That was one thing that didn't get done. And because after that, my dad invited me back to his bed. Well, he was tipsy in the head, you know. Bailey's Irish cream will do that. At least it wasn't peppermint schnapps, because then, yeah, then he would be temperamental, and I'm glad it wasn't like that. But he invited me back to his bed. This is the third time he tried to get at me. Or was it the third time? First time was when I was 9, when Gloria left. The second time was, at his apartment when I was 20. That's right. That was the second time. I guess I better go back to that because that was around that timeline. Yeah, I was staying with him, and I think it was around his birthday, and we were drinking Jack Daniels. I got him a really cool kit, Jack Daniels, and we were drinking, and he went to his bed, and I was sleeping on the couch, you know. There's only a 1-bedroom, some. And he said, why don't you come back here to my room. Just lay on the bed, that couch ain't very comfortable. It's leather or whatever. I said, okay. And I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, well, that thing happened when I was 9. That was a mistake. Dad was drunk and he thought I was Gloria. I got out of the way. He didn't, he's okay. He was really, that was a mistake. He thought I was somebody else, so I didn't think anything would happen, right? Well, I lay down, and sure as chips, man, he's all over me. Rubbing me, grabbing me, and stuff, and I'm going, oh. And I jumped out that bed, and I said, Dad, what's the matter with your head? Ew. And I went back to the couch and lay down, and, oh, I won't do it again. I'm sorry about it. You come back, I won't touch you. Yeah, right. No, thank you. And I moved out and went right to my mom's house after that, as you can understand. Anyway, and I was with Steve anyway. And then that third time, that was the third time, was after my ectopic pregnancy and losing Stevie. And, he invited me back to his bed, And immediately, I went to the sink in the front of his mobile home, and I threw my guts off. I was sick as a dog. Totally. And I'm 53, 59. So I have a few more minutes in this chapter because I promised I would do an hour. I know it's a long read. Long listen for anybody who's listening. For anybody who's listening. And, and so, I closed out when I was 20 after I recovered from that. And that was really hard for me. I moved out right away, right after that. I forget where I went right away in my mind, but that was enough to stick with me for a long time. That was the third time, man. And later down the line, that came up, and Dad was all pissed at me because I told my brothers about what he'd done to me. At least he didn't rape me, But I said, hey, Dad, you want me to lie to him or something? It came up, I'm not going to lie to him. You want me to lie to him? And my dad was, and we got to be friends down the road. I didn't hold it against him. I forgave him. I forgave him. Which in some ways I shouldn't have. But I did because he was my dad, my father. I honored him, if nothing else. But again, he taught me what not to do to your kids, And I was separated from my dad for quite a while after that. I met Jeff shortly after that, but that's going into 22, and I'm supposed to stay in 20, 15 to 20 years old. So I hope I did a good job. I hope I covered it all. I think I covered a lot. And hey, if my experience can show you anything, it's what they say about me, I'm not. Really. I'm just a little old lady, flower child from 1963. Last rose of summer who just had her diamond jubilee. Yeah, that's me. I would show you me in the bath, but I'm not appropriate. I'm indecent. And I've done indecent things. Silly me. Yeah, at 63. Yeah, you could officially me after all of these experiences. You can officially call me crazy. I'm in great company. But it's experientially. And I've learned that, Christ is within you, and you got to get this garbage out of you and become the best version of you, because they all tried to take it away from me. My light, my innocence, my dignity, my faith, And I guess if I had, these were my enemies who were going to make me tough by what they did to me, well, hey, they signed a big contract because they did a great job trying to toast me and kill the love within me. Drag me into things that were not nice, nasty. But my inner light within me taught me better and led me in a better way. Some kids would fall for doing their daddy. I get that. Dads do that stuff, unfortunately. I'm not alone here in this equation, am I really? I just didn't partake, not all, Yeah. So, that's my experience, and I got through it, and, and my dad's not the only guy who's ever tried to do it. But that was especially, for me. I survived it. I'm still thriving. I rose above it. Anyway, didn't let him have me. And try to take my light and my innocence from me. No, sorry. So that's non-negotiable to me, really. And hey, so they took everything, my brothers, my dad, my mom, whatever. And I don't want to sit here on the pity pot the last of this chapter, really. It just shows, it goes to prove, hey, it made me tough by what they did to me. I'm trying to, forgive my enemies, forgive those who've hurt me, forgive those who've slandered me and slaughtered me and crucified me and judged me mercilessly. I'm trying to get, forgiveness of them because they're ignorance. And it made me tough in a lot of ways. It did. I would have preferred love, not that kind. Thank you. Live without that, Chips. Because it taught me what love is. It taught me what love is and what love is not. And those lessons won't be forgot. And I'll put that up as a puff and a prayer and put that cigarette out to that. And yeah. And yeah, I'm still in chrysalis. Oh. I'm glad I have a towel down there. Yeah, see, I made a mess. I'm great at it. I really am. I'm so glad I got a towel down there. That's okay. We'll clean the mess. We always do. Everything's washable. Totally. True. And we clean up nicely. We do. And I'm at 100, 07, 08, 09. I'm going over in my chapters. But hey, this one was fine, and I feel better. I'm going to scrape this chips off of me and rush it down the drain, babies. If you're listening, I love you. And if my experience can teach you anything, it's, hey, faith can take you an awful long way. Love you, lovelies.